Hey guys, and welcome! So today is yet another requested video. I was asked to do a general video about boas, so that's what I'm gonna do today. With me today here I have Artemis. Artemis you've already met in one of my previous videos. He's my boa constrictor male from Costa Rica. He's a boa constrictor imparator to be correct. Boas are very common to find as a pet snake. Usually they're not recommended as a first time snake, but they can easily be recommended as your second or maybe third snake. In general, boas are pretty calm, they're pretty docile. Usually you will be able to find a bit more temper in them. Like Artemis here right now, he's pretty calm, but he does have a little bit of temper. Same with Rasputin, my Colombian Motley. You will have to deal with a snake that may have a little bit more temper if you choose to buy a boa. In general, boas are very calm, very docile, and they're just overall exceptionally beautiful to look at. I've said it before, I do have a thing for boas. They are my favorite type of snake. I know, I don't want Noel to hear this, but no, Noel has a special place in my heart. But I really like boas. I think they are absolutely beautiful. They have a stunning head. They really have what I consider to be a proper snake head. In general, boas tend to live for 20 to 30 years. I've heard that they can grow up to 4 meters. I've never ever seen a boa that big in captivity. The biggest one I've seen was almost 3.5 meters, and that is a big boa. And that is also something that you will have to consider if you're thinking about buying one as a pet. They do grow pretty big. They're not only long, they also grow to be pretty heavy, pretty big around the whole body. So they are gonna require quite a big terrarium when they grow full size. Luckily, most boas are slow growers, so it will take some time. Unless you buy them fully adult, it will take some time for them to grow into this big size. But it is something you have to consider, and you have to be prepared to buy a big terrarium for them when they reach that full size. What I really wanted to do today was to show you what I call the 3 different types of boas. That is the bastard, that is the normal one, the one you find in nature, and then there is the morph type. Artemis here, he's a perfect example of one you will find in nature. As I said before, Artemis is a boa constrictor imparator. He's from Costa Rica, so is Samara as well, you've seen her, which means that this guy is how they look in nature. He's exactly how they would look out in the wild, and I think that's pretty awesome. There's something absolutely stunning and absolutely beautiful when you get them as they look in nature. And Artemis here, he's really stunning. One thing I really do like about him is his head. I really love the markings he has around his eyes, and I think he's an absolute stunner. The thing about these what can you call them, normal looking ball pythons, is that they are not that wanted in the community. People would much rather have morphs, and I think that's kind of a shame, because like Artemis here, he's so beautiful, he's so stunning, and it's just really a shame that people are going that into morph. I'm not gonna sit here and play a saint. I really do love morph snakes as well. I really do, and I have quite a few of them, but there is something really beautiful about these normal looking snakes, these as they are in nature. I really like it. This was Artemis. This is the type of snake you will find in nature. Next off, I'm gonna show you the bastard. So just hang on for a second. Alright guys, so here is Tarzan. Tarzan is in shed right now, so I'm gonna do this very quickly. Tarzan here is what is commonly known as a bastard. and that's not a nice name, not at all. But the bastards pretty much cover that you don't know who the parents is. They might be crossbreeding from different of the normal types the one that I talked about before. And basically you have no idea what's in him. It's not from any specific location or nothing. He's just a bastard. And usually these types of boas are the ones that you will most often see when people are buying boas as pets. They are very cheap, especially in my country right now. They're very cheap. It's a little bit of a shame, I really do think, because they're absolutely stunning animals. The most awesome things about bastards, contrary to morph types, I have to say, is that they do have the potential of growing very big. When it comes to morphs, often they don't grow as big as normals or as bastards do, but bastards really have this chance of becoming a really big boa. You may remember Baby, our big boa. She's a bastard as well, and she's a big girl. So if you really want the big snakes, you should go for a more natural one, like the boa constrictor imparator. Maybe not that one, they're not known for growing that big. or you should go for a bastard, because these are really the guys you want if size matters. Tarzan, it was actually my boyfriend Timmy's very first snake. Tarzan was very young when he got her. He wasn't big at all. Tarzan really means a lot to us. He really does. It's an amazing thing watching your little baby boa grow into this size. Tarzan here is not a fully adult, not at all, but he is well on his way. As you can see, this is an okay big snake. Let's get him back in his terrarium. He has clear blue eyes, so he's in shed. So I don't want to annoy him anymore. This was Tarzan, the bastard. Thank you, Tarzan. The next type of boa constrictors I want to show you is the morph types. And as you may have seen on my Instagram, I do have several boas who are morphs. I've chosen out to show you Alistair because it's been a long time since we've met Alistair. So let me go find him. Hang on. Alright guys, this is Alistair. He's a sunglow boa, which means that he's a morph type. You may have seen Alistair before. He was in one of my very first videos, but I haven't really introduced him ever since. And I don't know why, because he's quite stunning. But Alistair do have a habit of being a bit tense when handling him, so I try to not do it that often. But as you can see now, he's doing pretty well, I think. Yeah, he's calming down. Alistair is a bit smaller than Tarzan, as you may have seen. Alistair is about 2 years old. I think he's getting close to that. I really love Alistair. We also bought him when he was just a hatchling. He was so small, he was so cute. I could just have him in the palm of my hands. I really have a thing for baby snakes. I think they are so adorable. I also have a thing for the big ones. And morph types are becoming very popular. Almost everyone wants a morph type, and there's a good reason for it, because they really look absolutely stunning. A boa like Alistair, like a sunglow boa, you won't find him in the wild. He's completely man-made, if you can say it like that. And you can get various different types of morph. There are so many of them, and especially in ball pythons, it has exploded with the various types of morphs. I think there is over 100, if not more. Boas, they are really catching up to it. There are more and more newer morph types found, like my Eclipse Boa Pearl you've met. She was first made back in 2012. So they are discovering or making more and more of these different types of morphs. At one end, I really love it. I really love when you get them in different colors and with different markings and something like that. But in the other end, I also think that it can go too far. You know, it can go too far, like it can with dogs. I'm not gonna go into the whole debate, but I do think that there are some kinds of dogs that where you may have taken that step a bit too far. This is Alistair. He's morph type, a sunglow. I really like him. I think the sunglows are absolutely gorgeous to look at. I really love the deep yellow and the deep orange colors that he has. He was a bit lighter when he was young, and now he's growing to be a bit darker. That's not abnormal, that usually happens. And it also happens the other way around, like Pearl was completely black when I bought her, and now she is becoming more and more lighter. So it does happen, they do tend to change a bit in their colors. One of the things you also have to remember if you want a boa as a pet, I am gonna do a whole video on what to expect when getting boas as pets, and I'm gonna show you some setups as well. This is just an introduction, but what you really have to remember is really the size. Like these guys, they do get big. They get very big, which also means that they need a bigger feeding, and that means big rats, if not rabbits. You guys really have to be on tiptoes with that. They're not gonna be your small baby snakes forever. If you're looking for a smaller snake, I highly suggest that you go like a corn snake or a California king snake. If you're up to the challenge, they're absolutely amazing. I love boas. They're so gorgeous. I really do. I'm gonna put Alistair back in his terrarium, and I'm gonna show you a bit more of my morphs. Now that we do have the chance, I'm just gonna do a quick introduction. So hang in there, I'm gonna put Alistair back. Alright, so this is another one of my morph types. Right here. This is Shale. He's an ivory super ghost. I really like the ghost morph. I think they are looking absolutely stunning. I don't know why. I really have a passion for these. This is Shale, and Shale, he's a couple of months old, so you can really see how small they are when you get them as hatchlings. Luckily, in general, boas and also younger boas, hatchlings here are very good eaters. I've never ever seen one of these guys refuse a meal, and that's something you really appreciate as a reptile owner. That is when your animal is eating, because there's nothing more frustrating when they won't eat. So this was the ghost. I will show you just another one. I have so many of them, guys. So I'm gonna put Shale back. As you can see, he's quite alive, and that's okay. I really like them when they're alive. Shale has bit me once because I was feeding him, and then I wasn't paying attention, so he bit my finger instead of the mouth. And that happens as well. It doesn't hurt, not at all. You just get a bit of a shock, you know? Thank you, Shale. The last one of my morphs that I'm going to show you is Pearl. Pearl you've already met. She is also one of my absolute favorites. Pearl here is a bit bigger than Shale, as you can see. She has just turned 1 year old, so this is pretty much what a 1 year old boa would look like. Of course, it depends on how often and how much you feed them. Pearl here is what I think a well-fed boa. She's looking really, really gorgeous, and I've heard that despite her being a morph, her mother was quite big, so I'm really counting on her to be a big snake as well. Pearl here has a morph called the Eclipse boa, as I talked about before. It was recently discovered back in 2012, so new morphs are always coming. You may be wondering if there is a difference in taking care of a normal boa or a bastard and then these morphs. There really isn't. The only big difference there is the price you pay for them. The normal and the bastards will definitely be the cheapest one. The normal one, like the boa constrictor imperator, may be a bit more pricier than the bastard, because there are people who still prefer to keep the lines clean. But these types of morphs, they are really, really expensive. Especially Pearl here. She's a very expensive snake, but you can get morph types that are not that expensive. So if you want something a bit different looking than a normal one, you can definitely get a morph type within your budget. I'm sure of it. Alright guys, that was all for today. Thank you so much for requesting this video. I absolutely love doing requested videos. You guys have been amazing, I really have to say. Every time I open my YouTube, I can't stop smiling. I really love doing this for you, and you're just the best ever. You really, really are. Give the video a like so I know that you like what I make. It really does mean a lot to me. Please subscribe to my channel. We are closing in on 500 subscribers and that's just insane, but we are. As usual, if you have any comments or questions, please write me. I try my best to answer every single one of you, and I love talking to you. You can find me on Instagram under the name jossersjungle. Thank you for now, and bye bye!